Please. Madam Chair, you are now live.
Thank you, Elena. Good afternoon. I'm Chair Tanya Rodriguez, and I would like to welcome you to the October 20th, 2022 Human Relations Commission virtual meeting. We are coming to you live from the Cherokee homelands, where the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians remain a sovereign nation to this day. We will now call our meeting to order. Duties of the Human Relations Commission of Asheville include, but are not limited to, 1, make policy recommendations to the City Council which promote and improve human relations and advance equity in the city. 2, support the city's Office of Equity and Inclusion. 3, provide a forum where residents can raise issues and complaints relating to human relations in the city. 4, engage the community regarding the utilization of city-funded programs and policies for the promotion of human relations. And 5, promote and improve human relations and advance equity in the following areas: public safety, education, art and cultural opportunities, economic development, health and human services, and housing. All commission members and staff are participating virtually. We appreciate your patience as we temporarily conduct our HRCA meetings remotely. We are streaming live on our virtual engagement hub, which is accessible through the virtual engagement hub link on the front page of the city website and also linked to the commission page. We also have an option for the public to listen live by phone by dialing 855-925-2801. That number again is 855-925-2801. And entering the meeting code is 9723. The meeting code is 9723. For those of you who plan to speak during our live public comment today, you will need to hit *3 to be put into the speaker queue. For those of you out there with us today, welcome. Welcome, Asheville. I will now go through and introduce all the commission members, staff, and guests who are participating virtually. For our commission members, please make sure to mute your microphone if you are not speaking. When you have a question or you would like to speak, click raise hand and we're recognized by either I or Elena. Please unmute your microphone. Remember to mute your microphone after you are done speaking. Commission members, as I call your name, please say a quick hello or present. See a list of members. Oh, that's for roll call. Tanya Rodriguez, Chair. Hello. Let's see. Vice Chair Brandon Oliver.
Hello, hello.
Commissioner Venable.
Good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well.
Commissioner Harold.
Glad to be here today.
Commissioner Atkins.
Good evening, all. I hope you're having a good evening so far.
Commissioner Catherine.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. And Commissioner Post.
Hey, everyone.
And I'm saying welcome because Commissioner Catherine and Commissioner Post are new members. Welcome all of the commissioners that are present today, and hopefully we have more commissioners trickling in as the meeting progresses. like to also announce our city council liaison, Kim Roney, and welcome our city staff members, Elena Schmidt, Brenda Mills, who is not here today, and city attorney, Brad Branham.
Good evening, everyone.
To give us a shared welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Sarah, for being our support staff for streaming today. To give us a shared understanding of group norms and to ensure everyone's participating feels heard and valued in this meeting, we will review the group agreements which were created based on the boards and commissions ethics policy. And do you pull those up, Elena? Awesome. Thank you. And would Vice Chair Brandon, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to read those off?
I can.
That would be fabulous.
All right. So the first one says, be civil and courteous. Be respectful of differing opinions. Be present. No personal attacks. The acronym WAIT, standing for why am I talking? Why aren't I talking? Pursue the common good. Respect and honor the majority decision. Be fair and impartial with votes and discussion. And adhere to the hyperlinked ethics policy.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Oliver. That was awesome. Moving on to our next item to help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. Again, I ask commission members to click raise hand and be recognized to speak. Please state your name each time you comment. This is very important for people who are listening in and not watching, or are watching and has it on in the background. Just a reminder that the public is listening on the phone, and this keeps them up to date on the order of the meeting and who is commenting or speaking. Do we have a quorum today? And it looks like we do not.
We do.
Oh, we do?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 out of 11.
7 out of 11. Is that 3/4?
That is also 2/3.
2/3?
It's actually one short, Madam Chair.
No.
I believe 2/3 is actually 8.
Yikes. So what happens then? I know I'm jumping ahead, but what happens then for that vote? Hopefully somebody shows up.
Yeah, at this point, I would say proceed with the agenda. And when we reach that point, and you could certainly move it later in the agenda if it helps. But at that point, if we do not have at least 8 people, there really would not be a point in taking a vote because you would not have the requisite number to approve that.
Okay, heard. Thank you very much. All right. So, but we do have enough for quorum to approve the minutes. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and do that. Did everybody take a look at the minutes from last meeting? All right, wonderful. So let's do a roll call. Vote for those minutes. Motion to approve minutes, HRCA minutes from September 15th, 2022.
I second.
Thank you very much. Roll call vote.
Chair
Tanya.
Rodriguez, sorry. Were you?
I'm sorry,
did you-
Dolores Venable, I second it. Sorry.
Who made the first motion?
I
did.
made the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I made the second.
All right, wonderful. Tanya Rodriguez, Chair, I approve. Vice Chair Brandon Oliver,
Approved.
wonderful. Commissioner Venable,
Yay.
Commissioner Harold,
Approved.
Commissioner Atkins,
Approved.
Commissioner Catherine,
Approve.
Commissioner Post.
Approved.
So moved. Minutes are approved for September 15, 2022. All right, moving on, welcoming our new HRCA members for our staff updates, which is our next item up for business. Elena, that's you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. City Council recently appointed 2 new members to the HRCA. Help me in welcoming Commissioner Ellen Catherine and Commissioner Donald Post. Thank you for being here this evening. Next in updates, the Realignment Working Group is putting together a survey for current and former City of Asheville board members. Once the group finalizes the survey, staff will put it into public input format for distribution, so heads up on that. The initial proposal for boards and commissions realignment, including the non-public working group structure, is no longer under consideration. If y'all have any questions about the Realignment Working Group, feel free to contact the clerk's office at their email, which is boards@asheville.nc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena, and welcome to our 2 new commissioners. Moving on to our next item up for business, unfinished business. Motion to move unfinished business further down the agenda, just in case anybody shows up.
I move that we move the unfinished business further down in the agenda, just in case somebody shows up.
I'll second that, Commissioner Atkins. All right, wonderful. Do we go for that roll call vote? All right, wonderful. Tanya Rodriguez, Chair. Yay. Commissioner Venable,
No.
Commissioner Harold,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Catherine,
Yes.
Commissioner Post.
Yes.
All right, so now this is a very interesting. So we're voting within the quorum, but do we vote with the majority that's present for this particular item on the agenda?
Madam Chair, yes, you still just utilize a majority of those present. So with 7 present, it requires 4 votes to pass standard agenda items this evening.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So we'll go ahead and move that unfinished business down to just to after community announcements. All right, moving on to new business. Resignation process and role of advisory boards. This is a non-action new business item. The role of advisory boards, like the Human Relations Commission, is to advise the City Council on a wide variety of subjects by making recommendations on important policy matters. Advisory boards develop short and long-term goals and make recommendations to City Council. And the advisory capacity in our advisory capacity. The boards act as important sources of citizen information on a variety of activities that affect the city and its residents. Advisory boards do not direct the work of city council nor city staff. The purpose of commission meetings is to permit open discussion on specific topics in a setting that is more informal than a council meeting, to hear public expression on issues, and to inform the public of what the commission is doing. Commissioners have the obligation to consider the welfare of the entire city, to be fair, objective, and courteous, and to afford due process to all who come before us. Here, I would like to remind members that if you can no longer commit to serving as a member of the HRCA, which includes attending 75% of the meetings, you may resign by emailing our staff liaison, Elena Schmidt, or emailing the clerk's office stating your intent to resign. This allows new members to join who are available to attend regular meetings, make quorum, engage in working groups, and conduct business. If a member of the commission does not attend at least 75% of regularly scheduled meetings in a 12-month period, they may be removed from the commission. Thank you all for your commitment to serving with us in the HRCA. All right. So that is 4, 5, and 6. All right, so our next item up for business, new business, are there any comments or concerns or questions over what I just read? All right, everybody good with that? Fabulous. New business. Next item under new business is discussion and vote on proposal to move to a 9-member board. And also this means retaining existing members and reducing number of meetings. This is an action item. Elena, would you like to take this one?
If the commission would like to discuss, this was something that is proposed following our agenda setting meeting as a way to help the commission have more time to meet in working groups between HRCA meetings, and by reducing the number on the board, have an easier time gaining quorum for meetings to conduct business. You're muted, Tanya.
I think we just lost our quorum.
Once quorum is established, we have it, right, Brad?
Yeah, if a member is absent who is already listed as present, that member, until they're excused by the board, is still listed as present, and they automatically vote yes on all votes.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Commissioner Post.
Hey, as far as, I'm sorry, have we moved a discussion on this topic?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, just for my edification, is it typical with this commission to meet quorum?
It actually is. However, we rarely, in the beginning, back in the early days, in the first year of the commission, we did have all the commissioners attending every meeting. Now we're lucky to have all the commissioners attend a meeting. And so we're barely making quorum these days. So the thought behind that is to, cut the numbers of the commission so that quorum is easily accessible rather than having to wait, for this 2/3 vote. And now we've got all the commissioners that tend to not show up to the meeting holding back votes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm. If there's no further questions, Commissioner Atkins.
Yes, is it possible to break these down into two actions? Discussion and vote on proposal to move to a 9-member board and then the reducing the number of meetings. They seem like they're two sort of unrelated ideas, and then that might help us better to show our vote that we're voting consistently on certain matters, like vote on proposal to move to a 9-member board and then vote on the proposal to reduce the number of meetings. Because just to me, it just sounds like two different actions.
I'm with you, Commissioner Atkins. See, that's why we need your voice in here so you can point that out. Elena, what say you about that recommendation?
I believe that's fine. Whenever you are ready to make a motion, you can make the motion that you want to make. Is that correct, Brad?
Yes, Madam Chairman, that's absolutely fine. You can go ahead and have anybody make a motion that only deals with part of this, and then have a separate motion if the body so chooses on part 2 of that.
Heard. Elena, what is the vision on reducing the number of meetings? What would that reduction look like?
It could look however y'all would like for it to look. If you would like to move to meeting every other month, that you can include that in your motion. The idea was that by reducing the number of meetings in the year, the number of required meetings in the year, you would have potentially some more time between HRCA meetings to meet in your working groups and conduct work. But you can always call meetings even if there are not ones scheduled if needed.
Right, and that would be like a special meeting. Okay. All right, so let me make that motion for the first one. Commissioner Venable?
Hi, yes, I wanted to ask a question if anyone knows this answer. How many boards have ever met every other month or quarterly? And would this be a new precedent? And who would have to be able to approve that? Would our board be able to recommend that without anything, or would city council have to approve that themselves? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Venable. I'll have to refer to Brad or perhaps Sarah, who's working behind the scenes, as far as whether other boards or commissions meet every other month or quarterly. But as far as needing to change the number of meetings, I believe that it would be need to go up to City Council.
So not to cut Sarah off if she's going to chime in on the first part of that, Elena, but as the second part, the HRCA, as I think many of you know, was formed by a vote of the City Council to enact an ordinance establishing this board. It is why the majority of changes and alterations must go through City Council. However, that current ordinance does not prescribe a specific meeting schedule, which means it would be my opinion that if this board chose to meet less often, it could do so unilaterally, and you will not have to take that vote on the City Council. You can make that decision for yourself.
Hi, all. I'm Sarah. I'm the deputy clerk, and I was working behind the scenes, so I just jumped in. I heard the first part of that question relating to other boards and commissions that may meet less than monthly. There's a small handful, and I can get a more proper list to email to you guys. But off the top of my head, I know that this is Sustainability Advisory Committee. They meet every other month. And for that reason, Elena talked about they have their working group meetings meet on the off months. And then I know the Audit Committee also meets quarterly. And there's more, they're just not coming to me now. So it's not unprecedented. I will say the majority do meet monthly, but you're not held to that. It's whatever the commission prefers. Hope that helps.
That does. Thank you. I appreciate folks' answers and clarity on that. Thank you, folks.
Commissioner Post, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So would this proposed motion also be in part of keeping the meeting on Thursday at 5:30 virtually as well, or is that I don't see that anywhere else on the agenda. However, I recall seeing that in the email. Or are we looking to keep it at 5:30 on Thursdays?
Elena?
I am looking back at the email to see what Commissioner Post is referring to.
I too saw the same email.
I believe the email referenced someone couldn't be present today to vote upon whether we're going to meet virtually or in person, and whether we're going to keep the same time or move the meeting to a different date.
Okay, so this was in response to Commissioner Smith's question, or sent an email with her preference as far as meeting. A member must be present in order to vote. So I was thanking her for sending her preferences and letting her know that she would need to be present in order to vote on her preference. But it was still good to have her preference noted in email for this type of discussion. So if there's or if the commission ends up voting on a format for the meeting continuing into the next year, depending on the outcome of that meeting, it's good to know what we would potentially need to schedule around given folks' needs. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Commissioner Venable? All right, moving on.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit of an internet clapping. Sorry about that. But I was just wanting to ask, maybe if we're not having quorum now, is this a conversation that maybe we need to be very instrumental in with other board members? Because if we're getting emails from certain people about a vote and they can't be here, and this is a part of something that kind of impacts some of the questions that they're asking, is this something we should move forward with? Like, I don't want to just do something and vote a certain way, and then folks are like, well, I wouldn't, and we get that, we have rules and policies that we need to follow and procedures. But also, I think we have a lot of new members too, and I don't know how many of our new members are here right now. I see several of them, but so I'm not sure if this is something that I want to take a vote on. I will take a vote if we all, go along with it, but I don't know.
So I want to clarify that 2 items on the agenda that need action. One of them being this discussion and vote on proposing to move to a 9-member board and reducing the number of meetings if this commission sees fit. And you can certainly move that to a later meeting if you prefer. As far as the vote on the meeting format, this is the last opportunity that the commission will be able to vote on the format of a meeting. If a supermajority of the commission votes to remain virtual, then you can remain virtual. If you cannot meet the supermajority vote to be virtual, then it will default to in-person. And this is the last opportunity that the commission will have to do that. So I hope that clarifies.
It does. So we're basically voting today whether to make the meetings virtual or in person for the last time, correct?
Correct.
I am clear. Thank you very much, Elena.
All right. Getting back to our topic and a bit of a point of order there. Discussion and vote on proposal to move to a 9-member board. Just that proposal in and of itself. So, Commissioner Atkins? Commissioner Atkins?
I'm sorry. On the discussion to vote on the proposal to move to a 9-member board, can you tell me what the previous number of board members are compared to where we want to go to with 9 members?
If I may, Chair Rodriguez, the HRCA currently is a 15-member board.
Isn't 9 to 15 to 9? Those are some wide ranges to me. Like I said, that's a wide range to go from 15 to 9 members. And I don't want to be the sole holdout, but that just seems like a wide range for me.
Commissioner Atkins, today we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members not attending. Our commission is at 11 members only because we have 2 new members. We are lucky to get 8 or 9 people a meeting. And so if we can bring our commission to a place where we have 8 or 9 people who are committed to doing the work on this commission, instead of 15 people who less than 2/3 of the commission don't show up, or more than 2/3 of the commission don't show up to each meeting. What that does is it gives us the opportunity to actually be effective as a commission in our votes, in our presence, in our recommendations, in our work, and in the opportunities that we can create for our community serving in this commission. And so it's not that we're cutting the commission in half, right? It's that we're letting go of the part, the part of the commission that is ineffective and has been consistently ineffective every meeting year after year. And so it's framing it and from a place of we're not, cutting away, we're not like going from 15 to 9. We're going from how many do we have here today to 9.
I like what you said when you said effectiveness. And that right there explains it all together. I'm too not for having a bunch of people in name only when others are actually committed and doing the work. So I just wanted, for record sense, to hear you say effectiveness. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Commissioner. Commissioner Oliver and Commissioner Venable. Vice Chair Oliver.
So I'm sitting there talking, I'm sorry. Thank you, Chair. What demographics what is the bare minimum? Is 9 the bare minimum? I know there's specific demographics that should definitely be accounted for in this. And does the 9 cover that?
So the City Council recently updated the ordinance establishing the HRCA to remove quotas from membership. Y'all might remember voting on that change, sending it up to council, and then it was changed in the ordinance. So as far as requiring specific demographics to be present, that's no longer in the ordinance establishing HRCA. However, there is still a list of diverse groups that are encouraged to serve on the HRCA. And the list was expanded as part of the HRC or as part of the ordinance update.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that.
And those demographics are still listed on the ordinance. It's just the numbers are taken off of them. And there's suggestions, strong suggestions, empowered suggestions. Commissioner Venable, thank you.
Hi, yes. I'm sorry for asking so many questions. I just want to be solid in my thought process. So once we do this is just something that our board just goes ahead. So this vote to reduce to 9, City Council does not have to. So is this a recommendation that we're sending to City Council for them to approve, or is it something that our board can just kind of slash itself? And once that demographic is kind of reduced, because I got what Brandon Oliver was asking, and that was part of my question also, and that question just got answered. Can we still be equitable with those type of numbers? When you lower the number, does it make it more equitable and more people forward?
Well,
Thank you.
equitable is removing barriers. And so equity means to remove barriers. So the term is diversity. So there still would be diversity.
Sorry.
Right. It's okay. A lot of people get it confused. It's a normal thing. So the barriers are removed to apply to be on the HRCA. So we do have access. This is an equitably based commission. And the diversity is encouraged because it is listed right there who this commission is intended to be made up of, a full representation of who here is in Asheville. So hopefully that answers your question. Commissioner Oliver and Elena.
Sorry, I accidentally hit it, but I took it off. My apologies.
All right, Elena, and then Commissioner Venable.
I wanted to respond to Commissioner Venable's question about if you decide to recommend reducing the number of members on this commission. That decision is ultimately for City Council. So you would make the recommendation and it would go to City Council for approval.
Okay. I guess where I was standing at with that was, and I did use the wrong term, in equity and diversity, because I deal with so many people, and these are terms that I see so much they become very convoluted. So excuse my gave her that language. However, I'm just wondering if we decrease the numbers within, does that change the amount of voices? Because obviously it does when you change something like that. So is there a better process that we can be able to use to get people who are very invested in being a part of our board? And maybe seeing if that's a conversation that we can have and hold that off for a month maybe, and see what type of applications we have to fill it. How many seats do we have available right now?
Currently 4 seats are open.
So there's 4 seats and 5 people that aren't attending today, which makes this meeting lacking 9 people. And the voices are represented. There is no lack of representation in the voices for the people who choose to come and do the work. Also, it rounds back to effectiveness. Are we going to have an effective commission with the majority of the people in the commission not showing up, or not us having a full commission? Or do we have a devoted commission of 9 people who show up to every meeting and do the work? And that's basically it. It's not about we're going to put barriers up to representation. That's ridiculous. Why would we do that? Well, it's not about cutting the commission or slashing the commission or anything like that. And I'm going to make this final statement and then we'll move to vote. I think one of the things that's important to think about, and what Commissioner Atkins confirmed, is how are we moving forward as an effective commission when we don't have 5 members of the commission consistently not show up, and always have 4 seats open. So moving on to our discussion and vote on proposal to move to a 9-member board, motion to vote.
I move that we move to the voting stage.
I will take that as a second, Commissioner Atkins.
Second it.
Wonderful. Commissioner Atkins, yay or nay?
Yay.
Quickly, could we please clarify what the motion is?
The motion is to approve the proposal to move to a 9-member board. Vice Chair Oliver.
Yay.
Commissioner Post.
Yay.
Commissioner Catherine.
Yay.
Commissioner Harold.
Yay.
Chair Rodriguez, yay. Commissioner Venable.
I'll vote yes for this.
So moved. We will recommend that to City Council. And moving on to our next vote, which is reducing numbers of meetings. Thank you for your vote, all of you. Reducing the numbers of meetings, Commissioner Oliver. Vice Chair Oliver, pardon me.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to ask this real fast before. This is discussion for this, correct? If we were to cut down and go bi-monthly, could we designate the off months for the work groups and just use the time? I think that would really help my schedule, no matter if we're in person or virtual. Either way, I really think that would help me. Just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I second that. It's taken me a long time to wrap the idea of going bi-monthly. But now here, after hearing Sarah say, some commissions use that 1 month, that off month as a working group month, and then bring that information to the main meeting. Man, that's brilliant. We should have been doing that a long time ago. Commissioner Atkins.
Can I just ask that we move it from 5:30 to maybe 6 o'clock? I'm really pushing because I have another little part-time job that I'm really having to push to get on and set by 5:30.
Elena, what say you?
The
About-
HRCA is able to set their own schedule, so that is up to y'all, when you want to meet.
All right, Commissioner Post.
I would echo 6 p.m. start time, unless we were able to convene on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. But if it remains on Thursdays, I would support a 6 p.m. start time.
Commissioner Venable.
If we were able to do that, I like to see our convene meetings go from an hour and a half to an hour, because you're getting most of that work done in working groups. And so basically we should only have business and votes to discuss. So I would suggest shaving our meeting time down from 6 to 7 on Thursdays and calling it a day. Our in-person meeting times. And working groups, I guess we have to construe what type of time that is to be, but I wouldn't suggest any more than that per month either.
All right, so we've got 3 new business items. We've got, one is reducing number of meetings, right? That looks like going from monthly to bi-monthly, right? We have a 6 p.m. start time, and we have moving the meeting from 90 minutes to 1 hour.
Just a moment, Chair Rodriguez. I'm confirming which pieces you'll need a vote on and which you can just decide whatever is favorable to the group.
Okay.
Sarah or Brad, do y'all have insight into this? Which pieces they need to vote on and which they can simply decide to do?
Sure, Elena. I think the only vote that's required at this point is the change to a bi-monthly. That is only because that has been a significant part of the structure of your meeting schedule. With regard to the actual time, the start time, I think you can just have some discussion about that. And if you get some general consensus, there's no need for a vote. We just need to make sure that city staff is aware of the time you'd like to start so we can publicly notice those things as part of our process.
All right, heard. Let's go to a vote then of reducing the number of meetings to bi-monthly. Motion to reduce the number of meetings to bi-monthly. Can I get a second?
I second that.
All right, wonderful. Chair Rodriguez, yes. Vice Chair Oliver,
Yay.
Commissioner Venable,
Yes.
Commissioner Harold,
Yeah.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Catherine,
Yes.
Commissioner Post.
Yes.
All right, so moved. We've got yes vote on moving those meetings to bi-monthly with working group meetings in every other month. Vice Chair Oliver. You're muted.
I thought by now I had this Zoom thing and Google down. We're gonna talk about this now. 2 months from now is around the holiday season. So, do we need to plan now for that? I think that's all. It just dropped on me that that's around, I guess, like Christmas and New Year's time. So, thank you.
I think that at the November meeting, since it's scheduled, we could probably go through the November meeting and skip December because we usually skip December anyways, and then start off in January on that new meeting schedule. I think that would make the most sense because we don't have a meeting in December. Commissioner Venable?
If the third Thursday is on a federal holiday, can we meet in November? Because it's considered a federal holiday that third Thursday, I think.
I believe that y'all can set a different time for the meeting if that's something that you'd like to do.
Could also look at rescheduling for the month of November. And it'd be noticed as a special meeting.
Okay, that kind of answered my question because, everybody doesn't celebrate or adhere to the same things, but at the same time, when you have a federal holiday that falls on the same date as our meeting, we've had this situation come up before and we were able to work around it. So I just wanted to make that something that we can do too.
What is the federal holiday on the 17th of
Yeah,
November?
that's the 17th.
Is there a federal holiday on the 17th of November?
I don't think so.
No, it's the 24th.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're good for November then. All right, so then we'll do that. Meet on the 17th for November, and then we'll skip December, and then we'll start on the new meeting schedule in 2023. And so there'll be a meeting January, and then we take off February, and then meeting March, and then we take off April. So then we can do that. That works. All right, so what do we all think about the 6 p.m. start time? Are we good with that?
I'm good with it.
You got it, Commissioner Atkins. Looks like everybody's nodding their heads in agreement with that. All right, so we'll move forward with the 6 p.m. start time. And then how are we with bringing the meeting from 90 minutes to 1 hour? Are we all good with that as well? Is that a
Yay.
All right, so Commissioner Atkins is all over it. Elena?
I just wanted to note that even though your meeting is scheduled for an hour and a half, if you conduct your business in such a way you can end early. So I don't know that if you necessarily need to change the length of the meeting. That's also there to help offer a buffer in case it goes over. It's accounted for in the schedule.
That's a really good point, Elena. So let's go ahead and do that and keep it at 90 minutes. So just in case we do have that buffer, because sometimes we do have public that call in especially relating to specific issues. We want to make sure that the public is honored and we offer that space for that to happen. Commissioner Post?
Never mind, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our next item up for business, commission updates. Our committee updates. We have subcommittees in the HRCA. We have intergovernment relations, community engagement, housing issues, examining systems, and improving HRCA. So for intergovernment relations, there is nothing to report on, as far as I know. Vice Chair Oliver?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Nothing to report. Community engagement.
It's still a work in progress.
All right. Addressing housing issues. Looks like nothing to report. There is something to report with addressing housing issues. The last recommendation that we put forward to City Council regarding income discrimination for housing, it is being reviewed by City Council. I spoke with a couple of City Council members who had said that one of the City Council members said that she had received a phone call from a council member in Charlotte, who, when Charlotte passed their source of income discrimination, the City Council member in Charlotte called her and said, "Hey, check this out. You might want to be and incorporate this." And so the ball was already rolling in City Council regarding source of income discrimination. And so thank you to Susie, former HRCA Commissioner Susie Chandler, for bringing that forward and having the foresight to bring that in. And it is moving forward, and any updates I'll bring here as soon as I know more. All right. Elena.
I just wanted to also share that the Affordable Housing Commission has also been in discussion about the recommendation that this HRCA made for that. Mine just blanked, but around the recommendation that the HRCA made, the Affordable Housing Commission is also talking about that.
Very cool. Thank you, Elena, for that update. Examining systems.
Also a work in progress.
Wonderful. And improving HRCA. It sounds like nothing to report.
Working at this moment. Because we're improving it right now. We just made some votes. So we're trying to see where everybody's going and where everybody's mind's at. And then we'll come to a discussion about that, I think.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Venable. Moving on to our next item up for business, community announcements. Are there any events, engagements, or something of interest to us here in the HRCA or in the community and city of Asheville? Isn't there a wellness event being put on by Umoja, Vice Chair Oliver?
I am not quite sure at this time. I was just sitting here racking my brain. I don't have my schedule in front of me, and I know that there are a few things going on, but I don't want to mention anything wrong. That's why I was hush. I can let everyone know and shoot out an email.
Sounds great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And moving on to our next item up for business, live public comment. Is there any public commenters in the queue?
I'm
Ma-
checking. My page just blipped.
It's all right.
There are no callers.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so going back to our unfinished business of going virtual. So 8 must vote, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have everybody here who needs to vote on this.
Do you have 8 or 7?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pardon me. Sarah was suddenly a HRCA commissioner. I was like, oh, you're honorary. Vice Chair Oliver.
Thank you, Chair Rodriguez. Question, so the final count that we have is 7, is that correct? Okay,
Correct.
the missing commissioner who sent the email, as I heard earlier, if they are not, does that count as a yes?
Are we missing someone who was here earlier? I think we still
No.
have everyone who started the meeting.
Right. And Wayna was trying to vote by proxy. And we can't vote by proxy.
Okay,
Yeah, we have to be
okay.
to vote.
All
So,
right, thank you, sorry for the confusion.
oh no, it's all right. It's all right. So I do want to ask, what is the policy surrounding the time limit for this vote?
I unmuted first, Brad. He might be frozen. So I can give a little bit more context here, especially for our new members. This is a fairly new policy. If you going way back, there was a state of emergency where the city pivoted very quickly to have all virtual meetings, and here we are now. With the state of emergency being lifted, we kind of lost that authority to hold virtual meetings. However, the governing body had some, I guess, flexibility, and I'm sure legal will chime in on my word choices here, to decide or to, I don't know, give the authority for boards to meet in person and or virtually. So more recently, maybe a month or so ago, the council approved a policy in which states the committees have the opportunity to pick in person and or virtual. But with the, I guess the sense of urgency is that the city clerk's office is looking to do our regular meeting schedules in November. And so that way the public knows how to view and or attend your meetings. So you would be voting for like a year of saying we're going to be in person and or we're going to be virtual. I'll also just plug here that we are working diligently on being able to stream when you do have in-person meetings as well. So I know that was a lot. And I kind of forgot the original question.
I was just asking about what that policy surrounding the end date for that. Because if we have somebody that was interested in that vote, it would make sense to push that vote out one more month instead of cutting it off on this month. we might have more members show up in the next meeting, so I was thinking because we did have that interest, it might be good for us to push it back, but I wasn't sure how flexible that is, or if that is actual policy that's written there from council that we have to follow.
It is in
Madam
the
Chair, yeah. Can you all hear me now? Okay. All right. I think I can weigh in on this as well. This plan, as Sarah said, began to take effect after the governor lifted the state of emergency, which has now been some time ago. That changed the legal landscape of how meetings are able to be conducted. At that time, city staff presented this particular proposal to city council, who gave their approval towards moving forward. And we needed to go ahead and get the votes from all those boards so that, as Sarah said, we can meet the November schedule for being able to plan and notice all of those meetings going forward. We've actually already extended the time frame for this body. I believe everybody else has already completed this action, so we're already sort of in overtime. So I would not advise us going beyond this vote, even given that there may or may not be some people who are not able to make it. The issue that we have is we want to try to be as consistent with all the boards who are given the same opportunity and timeframes, and did not have the ability to continue to push that out and making their own votes.
Heard. Commissioner Post, thank you very much, Sarah and Brad. Commissioner Post and Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just out of curiosity, I'm assuming if this does move to downtown, or if it moves to Person, it'd be downtown?
Yes.
I would like to just add that HRCA previously in-person meetings were also conducted in the community. We would just need to identify locations for you.
Thank you.
I think we only had one meeting in the community in the time that I've been on it, and Dolores and I both went on at the same time. And so there's only been one that's been outside of City Hall that I know of. And that was when that police chief from Indianapolis was here. So Commissioner Atkins and Commissioner Venable.
Well, I actually have two things, but one I want to leave to ask a little bit later. I do want to say that from a community association and from a community standpoint, it would be good if we since you're going to move it to 6 o'clock, if we could meet together, but maybe since we're going to every other month, one time we meet downtown, and then next time a community meeting should be held. I think the more visibility that we are in the community, the more credible the work that we're doing to the community will appreciate what we're doing.
That is really a wonderful suggestion. And that might be something that the community engagement and improving HRCA working groups can possibly join together in putting forward. I think that that's a necessary thing, because when we had that commission meeting with that former police chief from Indianapolis here, that was a packed house, and it was really effective. And so I appreciate you saying that. Commissioner Venable?
Hey, so Commissioner, the chair is correct. We had that one community meeting, and it was very large. And I think I'm the only person that is now on the board from the incursion of the board. So I've been here from the very beginning of the HRCA. So we've had one community space meeting, and I think one of the reasons why it's been hard to do community engagement is because we did have COVID, and then we voted to keep our meetings virtual. So it's very hard to have engagement when you're not necessarily engaging with people in the most typical ways, where you're in their communities. And this was a conversation that our board had talked about before, having some meetings in communities, because it makes it easier for people to feel comfortable to talk to folks where they're at instead of coming to where you are. So I do like the idea of maybe flipping them back and forth. But I will also say, if we have to stay virtual for so long, it's going to keep hindering the community engagement part of our process, because there's only so much you can do on social media that gives you accessibility to people in person. And I do see our board does work better when we have better conversations and understanding when we are in person. Things get a little bit more personal, and we're able to see other people's perspectives and talk to folks and get to know people in person and really see where folks are at. So I would just like to say that I do think that if we're going to go for that one piece, we need to be very open to the aspect of being able to see each other in person. And I do understand the city staff part of it. And God knows I appreciate the city staff for putting forth so much effort within this board and commission over the years. You know, when I come off this board in June, because I'm coming off in June, that will be 6 years I've been on here. And so, and that's time for me to go. And I will be going at that time, but it is good to see that we have a piece, and we've been through a lot. And so we didn't even meet for almost a year, maybe a year, because of COVID. So we lost a lot of groundwork in that time, and we had to just jump and do some things, going back to what Tanya had said. So we lost a lot of momentum, and we lost staff members, and things changed within the city. A lot of things happened, and it just was what it was. But I hope to see now that we're willing to move to every other month meetings, that you can actually, if you don't feel safe in a certain type of way, you can do your virtual piece. I mean, you could do your committee meetings, virtually. But I do think if we're going to do one thing, we need to kind of change to in person. That's just my personal thought on that for the meetings that we have for the HRCA and not the committee meetings. That's just my personal thought.
Elena, Commissioner Venable, I think your point is moot because it's going to default into a personal meeting, into an in-person meeting anyways. So I appreciate it. And like you, my term in the commission ends in June as well. So we both came on at the same time, and we've both been here at the same time and have seen this commission grow. And
I've been here since 2017.
I
Chair.
would like to call a point of order, please. I just want to note that given the number of members attending this meeting, we're not able to take a vote and have a supermajority. So we are defaulting to go back to in-person meetings beginning next month. And then given the commission's decision to reduce the number of meetings to bi-monthly every other month, we'll meet in November, skip December, and start back up in January. And I believe that it would be helpful if I sent out an email to the commission so that all members have the opportunity to weigh in on the scheduling rather than just deciding, within the time frame of this meeting, given who's here, everyone will have a chance to be able to say what times and days work for them. And then we can set the schedule per what's favorable to the commission at that point.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that, Elena. And we'll, honoring the point of order, going on to our next item up for business, future agenda items. Training in city mandated equity and inclusion processes is a future staff presentation. Commissioner Atkins, I see your hand. Let me just read these out and then we'll get to you. Accountability pipeline for complaints process for City of Asheville for resident complaints, which is another future staff presentation. Creation of volunteer mentorship program to support returning citizens. That's also a future staff presentation. Public safety, a future staff presentation. Fair and equitable housing, which is a planning committee work. And environmental climate concerns, which is a future staff presentation. Before we go to our next item up for business, which is adjournment, Commissioner Atkins, if you would like to say some words.
Well, not to belabor the adjournment, but in one of the emails, we talked about a survey that we would have to be prepared for. Can we get just a little bit more information on that, and when will that start?
If I may, Chair Rodriguez. So that was the staff update from earlier in the meeting. It is the survey coming from the realignment, the Boards and Commissions Realignment Working Group. I don't know exactly what that group is at on the survey, but we're just keeping you in the loop as far as the updates that we receive. And it looks like Sarah might have something to add.
I can add just a little bit here. The working group is working on finalizing that, and we do hope to have it out by the end of the year. I can't say, I don't have a date right now, but do look forward to that. It'll be about your experience serving on a city board or commission.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And thank you, Elena. And please note that important documents and resources are found in our Google Docs group. If you go to the HRCA and City of Asheville documents, you'll find our important documents and resources. And thank you very much. Thank you all of you commissioners for joining in and participating and being amazing today. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, City of Asheville. And yeah, we are adjourned. Keep it real, y'all. Have fun. See you in
Thank you.
November.
See
Be
ya.
kind to each other.